Hi, I'm Paul Brodie. We're back in the shop. We're going to see what we can do today. First time back in the shop for a few weeks and actually use a machine or two. Mitch behind the cameras. Thank you, Mitch. We're going to work on the Red AERMACCHI today. I think that in all the videos we've done, I haven't shown you my Red AERMACCHI. It has a little history. And it's been up in my house, in my kitchen, for a very long time. As I recall, I restored the bike back in 2001, year here or there, I can't remember. And I've never ridden this bike, which sounds kind of crazy, but it's almost finished. Over here, I'll show you why it's not finished. See here, I got a couple wires that need to be fixed up. So maybe I got an hour or two of work, and then we're going to fire up. We can do a fire up on the channel. And what I'm doing right now is I'm changing the brake. I'm going to put a new wheel on there. This one is it's what AERMACCHI had back in the day. And it's about a 7-inch brake. And I've got an 8-inch brake. I got it off a friend, Ashley Wildman. And I'll show you the brake over here. This is it's a 350, and I made it out of two bikes. And a 350 didn't emerge on the market until 1969, but the shape of this and the styling, I call it a 65 or a 66. This is the European version, because it has the hump tank and the hump seat and a few other things. It's got the lower bars. The fenders are a little bit different as well. So let's go through the little slideshow and I'll show you how the bike came to be. I made this bike out of two bikes, like I mentioned. I made it out of a black bike and also a red bike. So here are some of the pieces that I used. This is the black bike, and then here's some pieces off the red bike. It didn't have the European gas tank on it, so I had to make up the mounts for that. And the fender is off a Suzuki, I believe. I went to Modern Motorcycles. I saw Murray, and he had a fender. I had to make a seat because there was nothing available, so I took the seat pan off a stock one, and I made a mold off it. Actually, that is the stock seat pan, and I cut it because I needed to make a hump on the back. So this is welding rod. It's about 3/16. So I tacked it in place, and then I used some plastic welding rod, and I outlined the shape. See, there's a little bit of mesh that got tig-tacked in there. And then I took masking tape and I went over the plastic welding rod. Can you see there's a garbage bag here? Because what I'm going to do now is to fiberglass, and that's going to make that shape solid. So it's been fiberglass. It's had a little bit of sanding. Okay, the swing arm mount. This is off my black bike. It's a 1970. And can you see how small it is? It's not really all that big, and the engine case, it kind of comes around it. So on this bike here, I wanted that to be a lot heavier duty and stronger. So I changed the swing arm as well, because on the 71 and the 72, this is a larger swing arm. It's got the larger axle on the back, so it's a stronger unit. And can you see how much heavier duty this mount is? It's way heavier duty. And now this matches the engine case. And I also probably raised or lowered it very slightly, so I get the optimum mount point for the swing arm. There was a bit of work that went into here. This is the top engine mounts. And what happens if you ride the bike hard or the bike gets used a lot, they tend to get a crack across here. So can you see here how I added in a gusset? And the gusset comes around like that. It's TIG welded in place. And then when it's all done, looks fine. So those are the basic modifications that I made to this frame. I got the wheel off Ashley Wildman, and we don't know what sort of a hub it is at all. This is probably out of the 60s. You can sort of tell from how old the rim is, and the tire is a Dunlop. It's sort of the a triangular style of tire. They don't even make them like that anymore. It's gone really hard. So I took a zip wheel and I cut off the spokes because I wanted to save this in a sense, because it is a little bit of history. And there's a mark here. It looks like it's an Italcere rim. It's made in Italy, and I don't know anything else about it. And the spokes on this wheel all came out at the wrong angle. The spoke hole was drilled incorrectly, and whoever did it laced it up anyway, so the spoke and the nipple were like that, which is not good. So I cut it all out. This goes into the history bin. I'm not going to throw it away. And then I got a rim yesterday, but this is the hub, and there's no markings anywhere. It's a twin leading shoe. It's nicely made. It's got the air scoop, which is cast right into the backing plate, which a stock hub usually doesn't have. And I'm going to get the linings redone very soon. I'm going to get on the Ferodo linings, the green ones. They've got a little bit more stopping power. And like I said, there's no markings in here that say Yamaha, Honda, or anything. So if any of you know what kind of a hub this is, we would like to know, because we don't know. I like the ribbing here, because what they've done is to leave the ribs high, and then as they drilled, this is the spoke hole, and that's just a lightning hole. And the lightning hole on each side was used to make all of the half rounds in the ribbing. I like that a lot. So that's part of the reason why I want to use it. And I got the rim yesterday, also from Ashley. And when I put a couple spokes in here, I think it's going to work. I think the spoke holes are drilled at about the right angle. So anyway, going to order spokes from Wheelsmith, and then we'll find out really soon if the holes are going to work. If I have to file them a little bit, I'm okay with that. But if not, I have to order a new rim, and a new rim is $400 or something. So I'm hoping this is going to work. So what we want to do today, because this is a light shop day, I'm only just back in the shop. Can you see these holes here? Can you see how there's much more space here than here? I don't like that. So this is going to go into the mill. We're going to hold the mill, hold the hub in the rotary table. And can you see these lines I've made here? This hole is going to get moved over and made larger. So I don't take any metal off here, hardly, but I'm taking much more metal off here. And it's for the look. Yes, I'll save a little bit of weight, but mostly for the look. And the Speedo drive has to get mounted on here. So there's a few things that I have to do. But first of all, we're going to head to the mill and set this up and open it up. I think we're going to use the boring bar. That's the easiest way for me to do that, and move it back and forth. It's just an eyeball thing. Doesn't have to be super accurate, but we want to do a good job, okay? Thanks for tuning in. And something else that has to happen, I was just talking with Mitch, is the hub has to swap sides so that it works in this situation. So these holes are going to go on the right side of the bike. And then for the backing plate to work, that's going to go like so. And the torque stay goes from here up to here. This is the brake line, the brake cable, thank you, comes up here. So there's going to be a little bit of work to make this happen on this bike. And I'm just looking because the Speedo cable will have to be mounted on the other side, and I'm not sure how that affects the Speedo. It's a brand new Speedo. It's got like 1 mile on it or something like that. Those are hard to find now because as time goes by, obviously. So I just wanted to show you that. We're going to go over to the mill now, and we're going to take out some material here. Let's do that. I thought I would show you this, how I hold the hub. I've got the rotary table, and I've got a couple of axle sizes. This is a 15 and a 20, and it gets held in through the back. There's a 6mm Allen screw, so I can swap this out and put this one in, which I can swap. So the axle size here is 15mm. Can you see how this is a little bit higher? It's raised up the center of the hub, so that's why I've got these 1/2-inch aluminum pieces here, because that's going to rest on the flange here. So it goes on like that, and then it's raised up so I can pinch it down a little bit. I've made sure that this arbor is in line with the axle, so that's my Y0. And what I have to do now is to angle the head so that I'm coming down at the same angle. That would just look better. On these bolts, you always do them in an X cross pattern. And then this is the screw here that moves it. It doesn't matter what the angle is, just as long as it lines up pretty closely. So the bolts get tightened. Okay, I've got it set for 1,000 RPM here. Okay, what I want to show you here is I got a witness mark. We're getting really close. Can you see how there's a little bit there that's not cleaned up? In a machine shop terminology, we call that a witness mark. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move the table now a little bit. So I take a bit more off here, and I take a little bit off here. So I'm going to move the table. Oh, look, I forgot to lock it. Oh, well. It's okay. Because I've moved over the tool holder, it's out of balance. So I take a piece like that. That's my counterweight. And that makes a smoother cut then. I got clearance, you see here. Not going to hit. Nice and smooth now. And that's what it looks like. Inside, we are right in the middle of the ribs. I'm happy with that. Back to the bench. That's our video for today. And if you don't know it, Mitch and I like coffees. If you haven't watched a video we did several months ago, it's called How We Made a Small Fortune on YouTube, and it talks about exactly where the money comes from and how much. I think you might find that quite interesting. Mitch and I like coffees. If you buy us coffee, that definitely helps to support our channel. We have merchandise, shirts, coffee mugs, all that kind of stuff. So, until next time, thanks for watching, and have a great week.